Why do we find it so hard always for ourselves to feel comfortable in our own skin? Why is it always that we're always worried about other people will think? And it's just because of society. Society has just really shaped our minds over how we should look, how we need to look a certain way, act a certain way in order to fit in. And there's just so many questions like, why this, why that? And the answer is always society. Everyone always hears that thing that being unique is different, and that's totally true, because when you're unique and you're different, that's what makes you special, and that's what sets you apart from everyone else. And everyone is beautiful in their own way, but when you're first starting out, it almost feels like if you're too different, you can't fit in anymore if you try so hard to be unique. And that's what I did. And because I wanted so hard to be unique, I was judged for how I looked. I was judged for the way I dressed, how I did my hair. And it was terrifying. And I'd go to school every day and people would make fun of my clothes. They'd make fun of how I looked and what I put in my hair, what I dyed my hair, because I dyed it like weird colors. So that's how I started out getting bullied. When you really think about it too, who gets bullied the most in movies and TV shows? You always get the kid who's overweight, the kid who has freckles, the kid who has braces, the kid who has glasses, and that just really hurts my heart because this kid goes through so many different types of bullying. And we all know, of course, there's the physical bullying where the kid gets pushed around, shoved in his locker, and most recently, you know, with Facebook and Twitter and all these things, you have cyberbullying, and that hurts because things spread so fast over the internet now. You know, everything is literally just a text message away, and then all of a sudden someone's reputation can just shoot down. But I always thought that the worst kind of bullying was always verbal bullying. Verbal bullying has just hurt so many people, and even if it's just one word, that one word can stick in your head forever. And it's traumatizing, you know? Because people will say things to you and they'll assume things about you, especially because of how you look. Like if you wear all black, people are going to assume that you're rebellious. If you have colors in your hair, if you dress a little funky, people are going to assume you're doing drugs. If you're dressing too girly all the time, then people are going to assume that you don't have that much intelligence. And it's just terrible that everyone is making these assumptions based off of stereotypes. It's just ridiculous how people will exclude you because of how you look. And when they say things like that, they'll call you things. They'll call you a loser. They'll say that because of how you look, they'll call you fat. They'll call you nerdy. All of these words, and they all hurt. The truth is, when people say sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Words do hurt, and they shouldn't hurt, but they do. And why? Because you might get a scar from falling down the stairs. You might get a cut on your forehead from running into something, but when it comes to those words are the wounds that scar you and they get stuck in you forever. You might be able to say, hey, yeah, when I was in kindergarten, I fell on my knee because I was running too fast, but now I can say, oh yeah, I just have a scar on my knee, that's it. It doesn't hurt me anymore. It doesn't hurt, it faded away, that's it, there's no pain. But when you think about things that people have said to you, when I think about elementary school and I think about all the words that people said to me, I can't just say that that pain faded away, because that's still there, and that still haunts me. Now in school, I already knew, ever since I was little, that I wanted to sing and I wanted to explore the world and share my talent, so I always entered talent competitions. Now because people knew me because I was entering all the talent shows at school, then of course they would see me, and because of how I wanted to be unique, they would say such mean things to me. Like this one time, I had hardly like any clothes, right? And I would just wear whatever I had, and you know, I was a happy-go-lucky kind of person in the beginning. If I had a shirt that was 2 sizes too small, 2 sizes too big, I would still wear it because I was thankful for what I had. There are so many families and kids who can't even afford to get these clothes and who don't even have a place to sleep at night. So I have no complaints. I wear this pair of ripped tights this one day at school, and this girl walks up to me, and she becomes very sarcastic, and she suddenly just says, "Are ripped tights the new in thing? Because they look pretty stupid to me." I don't understand how people can have the nerve to say things like that. And the worst thing is when people say things about you and they don't even know you. I was singing at talent shows, and I don't know these people personally. I hear word of mouth through all of the teachers, and I hear it while I'm having lunch, and they say, "Did you hear what my student said?" My student said, "She can't even sing. All she is a try-hard wannabe." I once heard a teacher say that I was trying too hard and I was just lip-syncing and that I could never sing. The problem is that you can never be sure of the people that you're with when it comes to things like this, because especially when we're young, we're still finding out who we are. We're still experimenting with different groups. We're still shaping ourselves into the people that we're going to be in the future. And that's just the worst kind of bullying, fake friends. Fake friends are always the worst, because at least with the bullies, they tell it straight to your face. They say you're ugly. They say, "I don't like the way you dress." They say, "Hey, you're a freak." But what about the people who laugh with you and say that you're beautiful, but behind their back, they just call you fat and ugly and worthless? Nothing hurts more than that. Nobody deserves to face bullying alone, because it's tough. It's tough when you feel like it's you against the world, when you hear all of these negative comments coming your way, and it's like there's an entire mob, an army, and you're just sitting there. They all have their knives, their swords, and you have nothing. So we need to have our own kind of armor, our own kind of weapons. And the most powerful weapons that someone can have when they're going against bullies is each other. Has anyone else here ever been bullied? Yeah, we've heard negative comments. Look around you. So when you think about it, you are never alone. We can face this together as a community, and of course it's not easy to overcome. And I had to deal with it most of my life, as you saw, and even until now that I have a career and things like that, I'm just starting. And all of a sudden I get anonymous messages of hate every single day. You can't sing. Get singing lessons, quit your dreams, things like that. You're fat, you're ugly. They still keep on continuing to hurt me, and they just remind me of all the words that went through my mind at elementary school. It almost got the best of me at times, to be honest. There would be countless nights that I cried myself to sleep, and countless nights that I wanted to give up entirely.
Teen Fest is a one-day exhibition for kids like you, ages 12 to 18 years, and your parents. It's the only event of its kind in Canada. You'll find activities, workshops, great food, and entertainment. You'll even come away with a bag full of great stuff.
There's so many different things that you can explore.
Like different camps, they're doing people's hair over there. They have activities, competitions, and beauty, health, fashion. There's just an abundance of stuff to do.
Cool things you might not know about.
They can find something that feels like a good fit for them.
I think a lot of people are going to get inspired to maybe try new things, like they've got dance classes here.
I guess you can Google it, but when it's right there in front of you and you've got all these great people setting up for the day, you can just ask them whatever you want. We're here to help.
I think people are going to be like, "Oh yeah, I'll go try that."
Just look at some great stuff to do for the summer so you're not sitting around being bored.
There's music going on, there's food going on, there's a whole bunch of teens around, which teens like to hang around with other teens, so I think it's pretty fun, and I'm not even a teen.
I wish I had something like this when I was a teenager. Everything as it relates to teens under one roof is here, and it's perfect. You've got all the different angles. You've got education, you've got seminars, you've got fun stuff for the kids, like motocross for the guys and girls.
The fact that it's all directed right for teens, it's just awesome. It's a good place, safe place for us to come, grab some food, watch some good performances, tap if I want to, so.
It's important for them to be exposed to all these fun things because sometimes you just don't know. It's a big city.
There's so many things that teens would look forward to here, so.
They get to see all the stuff that's just for them.
But yeah, no, it's cool. It's a whole day full of fun and different cool things to do, for sure.
It's
free, great resources, great food, a lot of energy, a lot of fun, a lot of music.
Grab some cool free stuff.
Why wouldn't they come? I mean, it's the best of both worlds.
Just because it's awesome.
Don't miss out on this amazing day put together just for you. Visit teenfest.ca to register now.
Now, growing up, I was a very sensitive child, so, you know, my mom actually talks about some stuff all the time when I was a kid. I was so sensitive that one time I was on the conveyor belt, and I was sitting on the conveyor belt. I was about, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2, and I was poking all the things. I was like, ooh, look, diapers, bread. I was poking everything on the conveyor belt, and then the cashier said, oh no, don't touch that. And I look at my mom, I go, ah! So I was very sensitive. I cried at everything, and I slowly became stronger as I grew up. But even until now, I do get a lot of panic attacks, and I overthink a lot. So sometimes I get socially anxious, things like that, which is kind of funny because I'm standing here right now. But until now, I get the really nervous jitters, the times when I feel like I need to vomit, and times that I go like, oh my gosh, Mom, I don't know if I can do this. When I entered the music industry, I started to realize that I wanted to feel better about myself and look better and things like that. So I did something I never thought I could do, and that was to lose 30 pounds. After losing 30 pounds, so after losing all of this weight, I was so used to looking in the mirror and saying to myself, you need to be skinnier, that I actually dealt with an eating disorder for a little bit of time. And I was anorexic because in my head, I could hear all these voices going, you're still fat, you're still fat. It got to a point that I genuinely believed that I would never be good enough for anyone, and I would never be good enough for anything. When it comes to strength, aside from my mother, there is one woman who really inspires me. Demi Lovato. Now, Demi Lovato is my idol and my inspiration, and she herself has dealt with bullying. She's dealt with eating disorders. I want to be so much like her because she inspired me, because she had all these terrible comments coming her way. She had the nights when she would try to make herself vomit her meals at night. She had all of these days that she wanted to kill herself. She would cut, things like that. But where is she now? She's healthy. She's clean. She's inspiring kids and girls, young women all over the world to keep on moving forward. That's what I want to do. I want to be like Demi Lovato. I want to inspire other people to keep on moving forward. I want them to know that, hey, just because one person does not think that you are beautiful, that does not mean that that is true. You have so much to experience, and life has so many wonderful things to offer, so why take it away just because one person doesn't like how you look? We all can. You need to smell the flowers. You need to smell the freshly baked cinnamon buns that your mom makes in the morning. You can't give that all away just because of one thing. And I know that for me, it was tough, but in the end, I'm here, I'm alive, and I want you guys to always be alive. I want you guys to pass down to your kids, to your families, and to their kids, that we can make it through this. This is not the end. We can push through. And I know that there are other people like me who have survived bullying, because bullying is a killer. But what about the people who don't make it through? It's 2014, and we have lost so many innocent lives just because of bullying. You hear about all these stories. These people get bullied because why? Their sexualities. How many kids do you hear are beaten to the ground just because they're gay? How many kids do you hear are beaten to the ground just because they are of a different ethnicity, they speak a different language? How many kids get bullied because they're an amputee? They have one arm and people still pick on them anyway, even though they can't even fight. How many stories do we hear every day about teens and kids who get bullied just because they're different? Why is it that we only care when someone is gone? You know? We always notice things after things disappear forever. Why can't we start noticing things now? Let's not wait for another day. Let's not wait for another death. Let's not wait for another excuse. Let's end this now. Because nobody deserves to have to take their own lives because of bullying. When you think about it though, sometimes it's not just the bullied who need help, but it's also the bullies themselves. Bullies, they have insecurities and they have troubled pasts. We don't know their stories, but we assume that they just want to be mean. But what if we look deeper, past their hard shells? What if we look for their stories? They could have been abused as a kid. They could have been bullied as well. And maybe the reason why they want to do that is because they feel like it'll lift themselves up. But we need to reach out our hand to these bullies. We need to hold them. We need to tell them, hey, it's okay. It's okay, I am here for you. We can move on, we can move forward, and we can feel good about ourselves without having to push anyone else down. We should let the bullies know that we are there for them, and we can all be there for each other. Now, I know this sounds crazy, but everyone knows that forgiveness always helps, and when you're being forgiven by someone you got in an argument with, you feel so good about yourself. But when you actually forgive someone, that's when all the stress comes off your shoulders. I was listening to the radio a couple months ago, Kid Carson's show, so that's on Sonic. I listen to it every morning, and this one time he was explaining how it's really crazy, but if you actually do it, you can let go of so much stress and you can actually breathe and stop holding a grudge. Stand in front of a mirror or go anywhere where you can really keep yourself calm and collected. Be alone, take a deep breath, and imagine you're talking to that person who hurt you after all this time. And talk to them like they're really there. Say everything that you want to say. And at the very end, say, I forgive you. As hard as it is, after you say, I forgive you, you're gonna feel so much weight come off your shoulders. And I know this because I did this after I heard that on the radio. I was tired of being pushed down. I was tired of having to hear all these negative thoughts in my head and having to feel everything come back. So I said, I'm gonna do it. I stood in front of the mirror, I talked, and I said, I forgive you. And when I walked out, I felt completely different. I felt like a new person. It was great. But just because that's one way, but just because that happens doesn't mean that you have to wait to forgive someone. We can stop things already, and before people start to think of killing themselves. Kids in the room right now, you guys are going to experience a lot when you're older. I can tell you that, so you too. You're going to experience a lot when you're older, and high school is a crazy ride, elementary school is a crazy ride, middle school is a crazy ride, but if anyone hurts you, if anyone even for a second tries to hurt you, tell your mom and dad, tell a parent, call kids help phone, tell someone. Because if you hold it in forever, it's just gonna hurt you more and it's gonna build up, and you really have to help yourself. You need to tell someone. Now for the parents, if you notice your kid come home one day from school and they look upset, they look down, they're different, or you start to notice them feeling a little aloof at school or unsafe, you need to do something too. You need to make sure you're there and listen to them. It doesn't matter about giving them a lecture on how to get back at these kids, because fire and fire makes more fire, we know that, but you need to just listen to them. You need to be there as a parent and hold them and hug them and let them know, hey, it's all right because I love you and I'm here for you. So don't think different that nobody in the world cares about you, because I do. So parents, you've got to be there for your kids sometimes too. Now in conclusion, I really am so happy to be here for you guys today. It is possible to move forward, and people say that I'm not going to make it, but nothing is stopping me right now. I would turn people's negative energy into positive energy, and through that energy, I would be motivated because I wanted to prove people wrong. I wanted them to know that I am a fighter. I do not give up. I am a fighter. I am also very strong in my Catholic faith, so whenever I go to church, I get so excited because I guess I can't thank God enough for all the wonderful blessings He has given me this year, for all of the gigs I've had, for all the wonderful people I've met, but most of all, for my family and for my friends. And of course, my supporters, because all of you guys make me so strong, and strength is a learning experience. I was asked about, in a recent interview, about bullying and how that made me stronger, and I said, everyone is a warrior. Everyone has a warrior inside them. You may not know it, but you do. We all build our shields, and our armor gets thicker and stronger, and that's what shapes us into becoming who we are. And in battle, when we hear all these words, they cut through us like knives and swords and bullets and crossbow arrows, when they scar us and they wound us. But we carry these battle scars with pride, Because in the end, we come home to our loved ones, we come home to our family and our friends, and we say, hey, I fought and I made it. So in conclusion, don't give up. Yes, we are all different, and yes, we may come from different families, different households, different sexualities, different countries, different religions, but that doesn't mean that someone is of lesser value than the other. Our differences are what make us who we are, what make us so beautiful. And in the end, we are all God's children. And as God's children, He promised we would all be special, blessed, beautiful, and loved with the gift of life. Don't throw away that beautiful gift, because life is so precious. And like they say, life is short. So make the best out of it. And despite our differences, whether it be your family, your religion, how you dye your hair, how you dress up in the morning, if you have 2 legs or if you have 1, at the end of the day, we are all equal. To the kid out there who has glasses and gets bullied because of it every day, you are twice as amazing as you think you are, and don't ever let anyone get you down. To the kid with braces and freckles who gets bullied because that they look different, you are twice more special than you will ever think, and don't ever stop smiling. And to the kid out there who gets pushed around just because they're a bit on the overweight side, you are twice more beautiful than you will ever believe. Don't ever let anyone else make you feel the opposite. You are all loved. You are all beautiful and amazing, and most of all, you are all the warriors that you were made to become. Do not ever for a second let anyone make you think otherwise just because they think so. The person next to you may not look the same as you, but everyone just take out your hands. We're all different, and we are all of different colors. But if you flip over your palm, they are all the same. They all look the same. So let's hold each other's hands today. Let's hold those palms that look different. And let's stand up together. Let's stand up and stand against bullying together, because together we can face this. Because we are titanium. Thank you.
machine gun fired at the ones who run. Stone hard.